Hello, sir.
Hey, sir, how are you?
Officer Thompson, nice to meet you.
Very nice
Ben,
to meet
is Ben
you.
okay?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, yeah. How you liking this weather? It's a little hot, huh?
I've been melting.
I know. Come on in.
Thank you.
Of course. So welcome, guys. This is going to be a little bit of a different video today. We have with us Officer Thompson, or Ben. Ben.
Hey, everybody.
So today we're just going to be talking about some myths that everybody has heard about police officers. And these are questions that I actually want the answer to, because these are things that everybody's heard and that I don't think anyone's ever gotten like a direct, honest answer about.
I'm here. Transparency.
Ready to go.
That's one of our core values right now.
Well, these are going to be hard-hitting questions.
All right.
Hard-hitting.
I'm prepared. So I'm Officer Benjamin Thompson. I'm assigned to Hollywood Division. Currently, I'm a senior lead officer for the Entertainment District of Hollywood Division. I'm kind of like an ambassador for the police department.
And as an officer in Hollywood, I'm sure you've seen everything.
Absolutely.
So you're ready to go for these questions.
I definitely am. So Hollywood, of course, we call it Hollyweird because you get to experience a lot of different types of people, a lot of different types of events, and it's always intense and very active. I've never heard anybody at Hollywood Division say, I'm bored.
Right.
So that's not a thing.
I think that's an impossibility. The first myth that everybody has heard, is, do cops really eat a lot of donuts? Is that a thing?
No, I wouldn't say it's a thing, especially not now. I think, the whole world is a little bit more health conscious. Now everybody's kind of trying to extend the longevity of their lives, so they're steering away from things that are just universally known to be unhealthy foods, like donuts. Yeah. Although donuts are delicious.
Oh
so,
yeah, who doesn't like a donut?
Police eat them, no doubt. Just eating a lot of them.
Moderation, right?
Yeah, moderation.
Because you guys have to stay fit for your job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a physical job, so that's a very important element of our profession, is being physically able to perform the job. I think the whole myth got developed when donut stores or donut shops were the only places that were open late at night or early in the morning, where police could kind of go get a cup of coffee or go talk to their colleagues, or just be somewhere out of their car associating with the public.
Yeah.
Now we have a lot more options, and you see police in 7-Elevens, or you see police in like all-night diners, or you see police still in donut
vegan
shops.
Restaurants, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's
exactly.
LA. We got lots of vegan stuff here.
So yeah, and there's a lot of things that are open 24 hours a day that police can go to, to get a cup of coffee, or to get a snack or something, in order to kind of recharge.
Okay, next myth that a lot of us have heard, and I have heard this, and I'm really excited to hear the answer. Is it true that all cop cars have souped up tech, like something that makes them go a lot faster than the average person's car?
No, in my department, absolutely not. They actually, I think they want to slow us down more than anything else. So there is no supercharged equipment in police vehicles. There's no souped up equipment, at least in the ones that I have been in and gotten to operate. If you or anybody else knows of some supercharged police vehicles that are in the LAPD fleet, I absolutely want to drive those. No, but I think so. The philosophy is to avoid overdriving. That you can't be any use to anybody if you aren't able to actually respond to the scene of an emergency, or the scene of a call, or some place where somebody needs help. If you're racing to get there and you end up crashing, or getting involved into some incident brought on by driving too fast, or just being out of control in your vehicle, then you can't be of any use to anybody.
Is it true that police have to give out a quota of tickets? That's something that everybody is, or they got to meet their quota.
And I hear that almost on a daily basis.
Really?
Yeah. In many instances, somebody has told me, well, I guess I understand because you got a quota to meet. Right. And it's absolutely untrue. It's an illegal thing. in the state of California.
It would be illegal to have a quota.
It's illegal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we cannot, our supervisors, commanding officers cannot impose a quota on us. I think the whole philosophy behind that was that there would be no kind of spirit of the law element to the way in which we police Los Angeles, that we would just be going out there trying to kind of, you know,
looking around for like what
looking,
can I bust?
Looking for anything and everything
Right.
that you could conduct enforcement on.
Yeah.
What is great about our position as police officers or authority figures is that we do have some discretion. That we can use, you know, a detention or a stop as for education, for training, for some kind of warning rather than just enforcement. Sometimes enforcement is absolutely appropriate. And I think, you know, officers are out there routinely conducting enforcement for traffic violations, for municipal code violations, and, you know, all sorts of kind of petty offenses. Supervisors love to see that you're being productive,
Right.
that you're engaging in some kind of police activity when you are out there being a police officer.
Of course, yeah.
One of the most measurable ways to show that you are an active police officer is issuing citations.
Of course, yeah.
Is conducting enforcement for petty offenses.
But you're not out there trolling for it, for lack of a better term. If you see something, you have to, you know,
absolutely
uphold
not.
the law.
It would be absolutely illegal for a supervisor to say, you need to give me 10 citations
Gotcha.
over the course of your shift on any given day.
That's good. Okay,
Yeah.
well now people know. So if you screw up, that's on you. It's not because they're trying to get you. Okay, so the next myth is something that I have heard multiple times, and I don't know if it's true, but you don't need a postgraduate education to be a police officer. Is that true?
That's true.
It is true, okay.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Hiring is getting more competitive in general. So now, you know, the people that are getting picked up and offered jobs generally do have post-grad education. A lieutenant and above need postgraduate education. And the levels work like when I get hired, I'm a police officer 1. Through the academy period, I'm a police officer 1. After I get out, I have a year-long probation. After I pass a probationary period where I get field trained and certified, then I'm a police officer 2.
So police officer 1's the lowest level?
Yes.
Then there's police officer 2. And then how does it go from there?
Then it's police officer 3, that's a training officer. Then you would be training police officer 1s for like field experience and certification. And then you could be a senior lead officer like myself, where you're more or less an ambassador for the police department. You interact and form partnerships with community. Then the career branches into 2 parts from there. There's the command staff, or the command branch, and then there is the investigative branch, detectives.
Oh,
so,
but either way, no matter which way you go, I would imagine like there's intense training within that.
Correct.
Right? Like it doesn't, like just because you don't necessarily have a post-grad, I would imagine it's just a different type of education. You probably get a ton.
Absolutely. Yeah. And most of the training that we do, we actually get college credits for it.
Oh.
So, you know, even academy experience, the different courses that we had to complete in the academy that were academic, we get college credit for it. I get college credit for on-the-job training that I do.
Wow.
Yeah, you actually get to apply that to even postgraduate degrees.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's fascinating. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Is it true that police have to read you your Miranda rights? Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Like you have the right, blah, blah, blah. Do they always have to, how does that work?
That's another one that I encounter frequently when performing my duties as a police officer in the city of Los Angeles. There is a misconception that anytime we effect an arrest or detain somebody, basically exert our police authority over a person, we are required to provide the Miranda admonishment.
Is that the official term? Miranda
Yes.
admonishment.
That's it.
We're learning
The
so
Miran-
much today. I love
and
this.
it can be called the Miranda warning too, or the Miranda advisement, but the department approved term is the Miranda admonishment.
Admonishment, okay.
Yes. And so it's, you have the right to remain silent. Do you understand?
Oh, you actually have to say, do you understand?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you just had to say, you know, this.
No.
So you have to get,
Yeah.
make sure they understand.
Yeah,
Oh.
if possible, you're supposed to get somebody to provide a verbal response.
Right.
It actually kind of strengthens the whole Miranda admonishment, or the whole kind of interview that you would conduct of a criminal suspect. The only time it's required is when you are interviewing a criminal suspect about facts pertaining to the crime they were arrested for.
That's
Or
the only time?
That's the only time. If they're in a custodial situation.
Oh.
So those are the two factors that are required for Miranda admonishment, is persons in custody. So, and that is the person's belief really that establishes a custodial situation. So oftentimes a person's belief, or when a person believes they've been arrested and they've been taken into custody, that would occur when you place that person in handcuffs.
Oh, okay.
Or like even a greater layer to it would be like persons in handcuffs, you put them in the backseat of a police car.
Oh.
That is pretty much viewed by the courts, by the general population, and by police officers as a custodial situation where that person has been taken into custody, and if you ask that person questions about the offense for which they were taken into custody, that requires Miranda.
That makes a lot of sense, because I thought to myself, I mean, to go a little deeper on it, what happens if you're in a wild situation and the person is just not listening to you and they're not being cooperative?
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't make sense. Like, you're not going to wait there and say, oh, I need, like, do you understand? Because they're not always going to respond.
Exactly.
So in that situation where you do have to, you still have to say it, I'm assuming, but what happens if they're just like, they're just not?
Then most of the time you would not pursue questioning, because I mean, it might get you nowhere. If somebody's responding to you in a bizarre way, or they're not making sense, kind of, you know, give up on the questioning at that point. I mean, maybe revisit it later.
Right.
But you know, if this person is having some kind of episode, or you know,
They're being unruly.
yeah,
Or, yeah. The first thing you have to do, the priority would probably be just to relax the situation.
Control.
Then you can, yeah, that makes sense.
Absolutely, and then you can visit this person, you know, hours after the fact. You know, if this person's detained in a police station or a jail facility, something like that, you can absolutely attempt to interview the person later, and that would again require for you to provide the Miranda admonishment, just to ensure it, and it's for the protection of the public.
Of course, yeah.
You know, just to ensure this person is aware that, you know, they might incriminate themselves when they're talking to you.
Right.
And that the information that they give you, you know, may be used to develop, you know, a greater prosecution against this person.
And can that all be used if you don't ask the question and they just start spilling the beans?
Correct.
Oh,
And
interesting.
It's called a spontaneous statement.
Does that ever happen? Probably.
It
People
does.
freak out. They're like, okay.
It happens frequently.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes people will just start providing information that's unsolicited. They just start confessing. You know, I heard a story recently where there was a gentleman that was in a fight with a 7-Eleven store clerk, and you know, police officers responded to the scene. He was violent towards them, unsafe to approach. They had to tase him in order to, you know, effectively subdue him, and he started confessing to a murder.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And they were actually able to kind of follow up on, you know, his statements and solve a really heinous
Wow.
crime.
Is it true that police and firefighters are rivals?
No, I don't think that is a true myth.
I heard some hesitation.
There
So
might be some.
It feels like maybe sometimes.
Well, I think the one true component of that myth could be that police officers are, and I could say this is true for myself, sometimes jealous of the public adoration that firefighters generally receive.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we kind of feel overshadowed by, you know, I guess the general public love that firefighters get.
It's because they get the cats out of trees. That's what it is.
It's true. I think
Everybody loves cats. It's got to be it.
for the most part, when you call a police officer, something bad has happened.
Right.
You know, to you, to somebody you know, or, you know, just around you. And yeah, some kind of crime, somebody got hurt, something got damaged. You know, that's when a police officer responds, you know. Firefighter, you know, that might not be the case. Police officers, additionally, they respond when they're not called, you know, and they kind of interject themselves in somebody's life that doesn't want to have to deal with a police officer.
Right. Firefighters aren't walking around in uniform, in big leather or
they don't do that.
Rubber, yeah.
No, they respond to emergencies.
Yeah.
And, you know, generally when they respond, you know, it's to address some kind of problem that is life-threatening because somebody wants them to. You know, with police officers, that might not always be true. A lot of times, like, my contact with people could involve, like, me addressing something that, you know, was a violation of the law that they didn't want anybody to see or know about.
Right.
And least of all, they don't want an authority figure like meddling in their business and holding them accountable in some kind of way that is going to be detrimental to them,
Right.
you know, later. But yeah, in general, I think that myth comes from maybe some some envy toward the
Got you.
yeah, toward.
But at the end of the day, you're both serving the public interest, so
Absolutely.
really, you absolutely work together. But once in a while, you're like,
we
get
have
the cat
to
out of the tree.
We have to rely on firefighters.
Yeah.
For a lot of things. I mean, you
As
know,
I'm sure they rely on you for certain things.
absolutely.
Yeah.
If I get hurt out there in the performance of my duties, it's going to be a firefighter that responds to my medical situation,
Right.
to you know, my trouble.
Right.
And it's going to be a firefighter that ends up transporting me to a hospital for medical treatment. It's ultimately, you know, in many cases going to be a firefighter that saves my life. You know, I think in general, most police officers really respect that position and really value those men and women that perform that function.
Makes sense. I left the best for last.
All right.
This one, I take it back. This one is the one that everybody's heard.
Okay.
And I cannot wait to hear the answer. Is it true that undercover cops have to say they're undercover cops when they're asked?
Oh, I almost don't even want to answer this.
Right?
Because I don't want to bust that myth.
You got it.
Which
That's
is,
what we're here for.
Which is really a sad thing. So one of the best jobs that I had in the police department was being an undercover investigator.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah, I was a vice investigator for 4 years.
Wow.
In the Los Angeles Police Department. And I was assigned to Hollywood Division at the time. So needless to say, you know, it exposed me to a lot of just crazy environments.
And did people ask you that?
Absolutely.
And people say, like, are you a cop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is a general belief out there, a public belief, that undercover police officers have to say that they're undercover police officers if they get asked that. But yeah,
It's
there's
not
no
true.
requirement.
Yeah, I didn't think, honestly, like if you just think about it logically, like I never believed that because I thought to myself, that eliminates the entire purpose of being an undercover police officer.
But
like,
it's a great myth to have out there because, I mean,
oh, true.
Yeah.
Because that would work to your benefit.
Absolutely.
Oh, true.
Because a lot of times you get a lot of, you know, you have to undergo or pass a lot of vetting. You know, people are going to try to see if you're really, you know, like a criminal or some kind of entrepreneur. So they're going to ask you all these different kind of questions, you know, like who do you know? Where were you from? All these kind of things to see if you pass muster. One of the things, you know, that some people who really believe that if you're undercover, you have to reveal your affiliation with law enforcement, sometimes that's it. That's the whole vetting process. And if you answer it and go, no, I'm not an undercover police officer, I hate police officers.
So then they're like,
I mean,
okay,
you're
let's do
done,
the
you're
deal.
in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's do the deal.
you're in, you passed. So, I
Wow.
mean, really.
Is that really all? Like, I mean, I gotta ask, like, as somebody that's done this,
Yeah.
have you been in a situation where someone said, "Are you a cop?" You said,
Yeah.
"No, man, I hate cops."
Yeah.
And then say, "Cool, like, so here's all the information."
Many times.
Wow.
I
find that surprising because, like, you would think, like, you know, some criminals, not all criminals are smart, but some are.
Some are definitely.
You know, like to get to where they're at, to some degree, they have to be smart. So to just let that go,
Yeah.
just like, oh, okay,
I think
we're
that's
friends.
more of a problem that you know, is common with the low-hanging fruit. Maybe
I
not
thought so,
not
yeah.
the smart criminal,
Not the kingpins.
No,
Yeah,
definitely
no.
not the smart criminal, the uninformed criminal.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's happened so many times, you know, where that was the extent of kind of the screening, where it was just, are you
Wow.
undercover? You have to tell me. If you are, you have to tell me. That's a rule.
And they're
you know,
telling you,
yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
as if they're the
Yeah,
law. It's like, you
yeah.
have to tell me. Wow.
So yeah, I'm reluctant to let that one go. But yeah, total myth. There's no requirement. And you're absolutely right. It kind of defeats the whole purpose of having, you know, undercover investigators out there.
Okay, well, I'm satisfied. That was really good. I actually learned a lot. These were all myths/questions that I wanted to know, and I appreciate you answering them honestly.
Thank you for having me. Really happy to be part of this. Really happy to provide you, your audience, everybody out there with unedited and, you know, truthful answers.
Transparency.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. Can you tell them where they can find the LAPD? Because I know you guys are super active on social media. That's actually how
Yeah.
this happened.
Our handles are at LAPD HQ at Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And we're eager to hear from you.
Awesome. And if they have anything from, hey, you're doing a great job, to, hey, I think something's going on,
Yeah.
you guys will respond to that, won't you?
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You're
Thank
doing
you
a
very
great
much.
job. I appreciate it.
And
we
you know,
should have had donuts here, just for the record.
Absolutely.
I kind of want a donut now. I don't know about you guys, but like,
No, well, maybe we should go out for some right now.
do we deserve it? I feel like we deserve it.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. Cool, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having
You want
me.
that donut?
Yeah, let's get it.
I really
Let's
want
get it.
one.
Thanks for letting me fulfill my childhood dream of sitting in one of these directors'
Of course.
chairs.
All
Yeah,
right,
this is
great.
gonna be-
Let's go get a donut.
Thanks.